Yeah,
You know.
yeah. I was actually gonna ask you about that, in
Yeah,
fact,
yeah.
too. Because I listened to the album,
Mm-hmm.
and what caught my ear was the live instrumentation
Mm-hmm.
on a lot of the tracks. Like, was the whole album or just, a few tracks here and there? Was it live instrumentation?
Majority of that album, I'm gonna say 95% of the album is just straight live instrumentation.
Wow.
Uh,
Okay.
the only song that was not live instrumentation was the tribute to the '90s hip hop, like 9 to 5, Life is Going Nowhere.
Mm,
Uh, that was like the only song, of course, that wasn't live instrumentation. It's hip hop.
man.
uh, but that was the only song. But 95%, majority, everything else was just live instrumentation.
Yeah, because it really like, just how you said, funk, soul, love.
Yeah,
It really had those types of vibes in
right.
it.
Mm-hmm.
I felt a little bit of like almost like Bootsy Collins. I felt a little bit of like Rick James type of vibe. I felt who else? Another Ant Fetler, type of vibes.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just a real like funky sounding album. I really like a lot of the instrumentation.
Right.
Now was that something planning that, recording that whole album, how long did it take you to go through that process? Because I know, live instrumentation, of course, is a lot different than you doing everything in Reason or Logic or whatever. So how long was that entire process of creating that album?
It took me 2 years with pre-production and with rearranging the horns, with even rearranged like two of the songs. I went back and said, I ain't feeling that arranged. I'm gonna change that up. You know, it's a whole different process. Um, it was it was a process, but it was fun. It was a learning experience. Um, I've learned how to work with different personalities making this record. I learned how to be sometimes tough, but sometimes also be, kind of fall back. um, I learned to have a balance in making in music, but the most key thing I learned how to take my time and not rush. I would say that was the big mistake I made with this album. It's rush. We got to hurry up and finish because I wanted to be done in a year. But with the expenses, and all that, that couldn't been happen. That couldn't happen like that. So I was blessed with doing it for 2 years, and I learned a lot out of all these 2 years. With making Funk Love and Soul, but it was great. It was a great process.